You open this door with the key of reason. Beyond it is another dimension, a dimension of truth, a dimension of freedom, a dimension of joy. You're moving into the land of both the ideal and the real, of the possible and the actual. You've just crossed over into the capitalist corner.
Where reason meets reality, welcome to the capitalist corner.
All right, I got a great surprise for everybody today, and here he is. Well, he's not here yet because he's trying to dick around with his phone. Anyway, this is the Capitalist Corner, and I'm happy to be here with you. The show is in no way affiliated with the American Capitalist Party. I have a phone call coming in now that I'm going to take it. I'm going to take it live on the air right now. Thomas. Okay, I'm live on the air, but I just wanted to know if you got the email I sent with all the permits for Ahern, because I just deleted it by mistake, so I may have to resend it at 1. Just let me know, all right? All right. All right, all right. All right. I know that was interesting. Okay, I'm bringing a Puerto Rican on. Don't get nervous. No one get nervous. Carlos, welcome. You got to talk. You can't just stare at there and show everyone your pretty face.
Welcome. I can't hear you for some reason. I don't know why.
You probably don't have the speaker on.
I can't hear you.
Oh my goodness. Carlos is not that sharp. He's pretty, but he's not that sharp. You got to put the volume on. I don't know what to tell you. Everyone can hear you. Everyone's saying hi. They love you. He's not that sharp. You got to put the volume on. What are you, retarded? Oh, no, I used that word. They love you. You got to put the volume on. What are you? All right, I'm muting you. Yeah, you can't fiddle around with subby. You just can't do it. Anyways, I want Carlos to tell you guys about his life story.
I can't hear you.
I don't know what to tell you, dude. Can you hear me now? All right, screw him. Listen, we got a lot to talk about today. He's on a delay, I'm being told, by the Ayn Rand fan club, who I thought I blocked, but evidently I didn't. He's back. But we got a lot to talk about today. The first thing I want to talk about is this BBC story. Evidently, the BBC... I tried to do a dry run and get him on early, Ian, but he's been dicking around in the other room all this time. So... the BBC evidently quoted Trump out of context to make him appear he's saying things that he's not saying. And I just think this is it's gross, for one thing, that they do this. It's also entirely unnecessary. Trump says enough ridiculous stuff without taking him out of context, without... Can you hear me now?
There we go. I had to log in.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, that's your fault.
It's not my fault. I sent you the link. Log in.
I clicked the link and then it wouldn't allow me to hear you without me logging into the damn thing.
Do you guys see what I deal with? Lee says that you're her princess. So anyways, right now I'm talking about the British Broadcast Corporation or company and how they edited a video to make Trump appear to say things that he's not saying. And yeah, you don't need to edit it. Right? Just let him say what he's going to say. And when they do this type of stuff, they only give fuel to the very forces they're trying to fight. It's utterly ridiculous. But while we have Carlos here, you can see the freedom braids on his shirt. Carlos is capitalism personified. So I want to talk a little bit about Carlos's Carlos the capitalist. Tell us a little about yourself.
So, at the age of 15...
Oh, my God. First of all, stop right there.
I know he hates that.
Nobody talks like that. Nobody. No. At the age of 23. No one talks like that. You said when I was 15.
So, yeah, when I was 15, well, I shouldn't be laughing at this part, but when I was 15, I committed a heinous crime, was sentenced as an adult to 45 years. And throughout the 24 years that I served, I was able to meet Michael and Brent, which became my mentors. I was, 24 years old, maybe? Mike.
Wow, you're asking me? I got to know how old you are. You were born in 83,
When I
right?
met you, when I met you,
Yeah, you were born in 83, correct?
yes,
We met in 2005. You would have been 21, actually, because, well, no, you were 22. We met when you were 22 because of the
22,
whole
yes.
thing in J1 and all that. So, yeah, so this is actually a funny story. So, Mike, geez, he's free to talk how he wants to. Yeah, and embarrass me? He's representing me
Pretty,
here.
pretty is the standard for free speech today. What
It
the, what the, for
is.
ugly people.
Yeah, you're
I
almost as
can't.
pretty as Persephone. Anyway, have you seen Persephone?
What? No.
That's Persephone. She's real pretty. Say
She
hi.
is pretty, especially with the glasses. Yes.
It's not the glasses, it's the headphones. Anyways, so Carlos comes to me in the big house and he tells me he's this essay writer. And he says, I really want you to read this essay and critique it. And let me tell you, I hate when people do this to me because inevitably I'm going to tell them things they do not want to hear. And then they get upset and it turns into a big thing. So Carlos comes to me. He's so excited. He gives me his essay. I tell him, okay, we'll talk about it tomorrow. I proceeded to sit down with him and absolutely shred his little essay. But he took it well. And so he and I became really good friends as a result of this because I respected him. Okay, now you go, Carlos.
So yeah, so I was this, thinker that, society was against me, that, poor me, the environment, America wasn't the greatest country, to succeed, self-sacrifice was the answer to the problems of the world, so on and so forth. And Mike started to give me, these books, and I thought he was just so full of himself. And through reading up the literature, I realized that I knew very little about the world and what was going on. But the great thing about it is that he wouldn't just answer my questions. Whenever I would have any question, he would give me arguments for and against the question, ask me questions when I would come to my own conclusions to consider more information. And I started to get more interested in politics, economics, moral philosophy. He introduced me to Ayn Rand. I broke my skull trying to understand this information. Mike did a great job of simplifying it, giving me actual examples in the political world. So on and so forth. So I started to understand, how important individual rights were, not society as a whole, but individual rights, the right to own to your own property, the pursuit of happiness, and what this actually meant in a society, specifically in our country. So, I took more and more ownership for my life, more and more responsibility. If anybody had an excuse, to fail in life and to make excuses, at 15 years old, sentenced to 45 years, serving a total of 24, got out, knew that it was up to me to make it happen, all the excuses out of the way, no systemic racism, exists, all this other stuff, pushed it out the way, started my company, and now I'm at over 600 clients and employing other people, which is just amazing to me. All of the things that were taught are actual, like, things that you can apply in reality. So through a moral philosophy, through the understanding of just basic economics, not even anything complicated, I was able to apply most of those principles. And yes, here I
Now,
am, success.
now you're Puerto Rican.
I'm Puerto Rican. It
No, no,
drives
Carlos,
me.
I'm actually going to say something. That wasn't the end of it. We're not just going to end
No,
the
I
show
know,
on.
I know, I know, I know, I know.
Well, they don't know. Maybe you're Mexican.
Go ahead.
So my point is this: is that in prison, uh, when I met you, you were also Muslim. So you were Muslim and you're Puerto Rican. And
Yes.
how did the Muslim and the other Puerto Rican community deal with you hanging around with the great white religious stealer or whatever it was that they called me?
Um, so it was just nonsensical because first of all, to discount your intelligence, right, and your integrity and your character based on your race was ridiculous to me. And the fact that they didn't see that was enough to make me stay the hell away from them because they didn't have much to offer in terms of intelligence. So that for me was a big stay away from. But they took it very hard. It was like, that atheist, that white guy, he's not even for the people. These are men that are doing nothing but hanging around playing cards, talking about the crimes they committed. glorifying the most idiotic, unproductive shit that goes on in life. So it didn't work well. But for me personally, to be included in anything because of my nationality, to me has been ridiculous. I mean, listen, it just keeps happening. Minorities keep setting themselves up for failure, thinking that just because a certain person is getting in office or a certain gender, it's enough to override the significance of ideas, has been, a big crash for us. I mean, before we left, Angel Quiroz became the commissioner of the Department of Corrections. This was a Hispanic. All he did was through cronyism, put people who are Hispanic in positions of power that ended up making the problem even more like worse. And you had inmates now complaining and staff complaining that he's just hiring Puerto Ricans that are doing nothing and are worse than everybody else that was in there. So it just keeps happening over and over again, and it's not helping anybody.
All right. Now, you talked a little bit about self improvement, philosophy, economics, but what I want you to talk about is the work ethic. The
Yes.
work ethic that you learned in prison and the work ethic that you're applying outside of prison.
Yes, so working beside you and Brent McCall, who's great at carpentry. He wouldn't call himself a master carpenter, but given my impression of him, he's
Would you
very,
call
very
me a
skilled.
master debater?
Masturbator, yes. No, but
How would you know?
so I remember being frustrated actually by my lack of comprehending things as well as you do, and you actually telling me to stop because you've been engaged in this process for a very long time. And there's something about the way your brain operates that allows you to integrate information differently, compared to me and others. So that definitely helped. But being working besides Brent and him being on top of me and you as well about, time management.
We were never on top of you. You don't want to use that when we're talking about prison.
I'm sure they're going to turn it into some kind of comedy skit. But
Yeah, you saying the guys in prison are on top of you. It's as bad as Subby telling me to lay down and have my cellie tug on my legs. All
but
right, go
no, yeah,
ahead.
producing quality, time management, being able to understand exactly what I'm doing, planning ahead, showing up on time, not cutting corners, going above and beyond what the standard was, helped me a lot, prepare me for all of the things that I'm doing now. I mean, listen, I know very little about business, but I know the basics, right? You show up, you provide quality to customers, you make sure that they have an amazing experience, and other people are starting to notice and are joining the team. So now I have three stylists, which is amazing. And primarily, they're reaching out to me. Let me add emphasis on this because the culture that they've been in is killing their drive for what they do in the styling industry. And they see what I'm doing. They trust and confide in the message, in the person, and they want to be a part of that. So, that's very important to stress.
So, how long have you been out?
It was, it's 3 years. It's been 3 years on Halloween.
So, talk a little bit about your journey since you've been out. Subby says that's why I like talking to you, Carlos. If you want to talk a little bit first before you talk about Subby and him telling you if you don't call more than once a week, he doesn't want anything to do with you, or
Yeah, so,
why he said he likes you. That'd be great. Those are funny stories.
so no, Subby has been an excellent friend and, great at giving advice, great at being supportive. Um, he would take phone calls, he would respond to emails, and would even, talk to me about the importance of passing along what Mike and Brent, imparted unto me. And also with, just making sure that I constantly check in on friends while I was in prison. There was this instance where I hadn't called him in weeks. And when I did call him, he told me, if you're not going to call me in 1 week, you can just forget about it because I'm not standing for that at all. Like, that's not what friends do. So, the importance of friendship has also been stressed throughout my relationship with you, Brent and Subby, which to me has made a great impact as well. I mean, I know I don't come around as often as I should, but I do, keep that with me a lot. So thank you, Subby. I really appreciate it.
All right. So now talk to us a little bit about your experience. How's the business going? How long did it take you to build? What do you do?
So I braid hair. I learned how to braid hair while I was in prison. A great skill that I developed, started practicing, challenging myself, taking on very intricate designs. I was released from prison in 2022 on October 31st at a halfway house, which is a transitional program that is supposed to easily let you back into society. And they were more in the way than supportive. So I got this job I hated, didn't knew nothing about car sales or car parts. But on the side, I started going into work at a salon, taking on clients, developing my clientele, was able to get the 40-hour work week in that other job to 4 hours on a Sunday. And one day on my way to that job, met a lady at a stop sign. I handed her a card. She wanted to pay me double for taking her on because no other salon would take her on. And that's what I needed to quit the job. So I took it on a little over 2 years ago, was at that salon for 6 months before I knew and trusted the numbers enough to start my own business. Left. Now I'm in a private suite and we're at 607 clients to date.
Okay. And how many times have I asked you for money?
Many times. And I gladly give it to you. No, but honestly, right? You can't put a price on the kind of mentorship and exemplifying that you've done. And I wish I could do more because honestly, it's grounded me. It's grounded me against a philosophy that tells me that the greatest virtue is self-sacrifice, right? That it's not building your character, it's more the other people that matter, when in fact you have to make sure that your life and the understanding of your life is the most important thing to cherish because it's the most scarce commodity. If I'm gone, I'm gone.
That's
Like
it.
that's it. So I have to place enough value to understand why it's important in order for me to impart any value onto other people. But people would like to reverse that and say, no, you get your value through other people, and that's just not how life and the mind works at all.
So Deeper with Diego says three stylists, and he wants to know: did the Muslim inmates know you were gay at the time?
No, 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 they didn't, but I was very happy. I was a whole bundle. I was a whole bundle of happy sticks.
He also says, Deeper with Diego, that he can put a price on mentorship, and you should give me a G a week. And I'm not going to deny that. I'm not going to say you should not give
Well,
me a G.
I would say you can start a business where a lot of people can use your mentorship and start charging for that membership, just like a lot of people do for going on, air and having people tune in. So all of you guys can donate easily $50 each every time you come on here, and I'm pretty sure that Mike will be well and thriving.
He says, why does everything you say sound so awesome?
I don't know, but people tell me I should be doing voiceovers or audio readings. I did
What do
I
you
did
mean,
a
people?
So listen, I did a interview, and one of the persons says, "Why is he speaking so seductive to us?" Hey, do you want
Car-
me to tell him the story about how one of the correctional officers spoke to me about my tone of voice when I approached him at the officer station?
you can, but first I just wanted to say something. That Carlos one day came to me. We were in the gym, and he was trying to get me to remember something. And he says, "Hey, do you?" He says, "Do you remember the black guy who used to walk around in tans with a coffee cup?" It's like 3/4 of the prison population, and he thought that was going to be a good descriptor. A guy with tans and a coffee cup. Great. Okay, yeah. Tell him the story, Carlos. Go ahead.
So I go
It's
up to the
my show. We can
officers.
do it whenever I want.
I go up to the officer station to ask for a request, which is an application form that you submit whenever you want any services in the prison. So when I go up there and I ask him for the request form, he's in there with his coworker, and he turns and looks at his coworker and then looks at me and turns again and looks at me, and I'm like, "What's the problem?" He's like, "Does it look like I have panties on?" And I said, "What? Are you crazy?" He said, then why the hell are you coming up here trying to talk my panties off, talking to me all seductive? Just ask for the request form like a man and stop using that tone with me.
Just dip one chip and be done with it.
Yeah,
Just dip one. Okay. So you do, you mentioned, well, you didn't just mention it. We've been talking about prison. There's one more story about prison that I would like you to share, and that is the story of Officer Taylor.
Officer Taylor.
Oh
Oh,
my
man.
God.
I remember him.
I hope so, because otherwise me saying Officer Taylor would have been a complete waste of words.
What a
But,
maniac. Straight
yeah, so
maniac.
what happened there? People need to get an understanding of what prison is like.
Yes. So, it's this idea that officers lead by example and model behavior of citizenship, right? So this is the standard that is set for us. Whatever they do is supposed to reflect on us that we are the ones that are wrong, problematic, and we need fixing. So we need to emulate them and their behavior. So Mike and I are playing Scrabble, I believe, right?
So we were doing something, cards,
Yeah,
Scrabble,
I think
doesn't matter.
we're playing some kind of game.
It was a holiday.
And it was a holiday, and our recreation period had not been completed, had not been over, right? So he
Let me
starts.
lay the groundwork because
Go
you're
ahead.
butchering the story and I'm just going to get annoyed.
Go
So
ahead.
normally during the week, lockup is at 10:15. On the day in question, it was a holiday. So lockup was at 10:30. It's clearly the schedule is on the board behind the officers. So at about 10:10, they make the announcement that it's 5 minutes to recall. Now we know we have 20 more minutes because it's a holiday. Now, Carlos, what ensued? I hope you can remember because I don't want to have to keep jumping in, but go ahead.
So I believe I approached them to tell him that our rec time wasn't over, and he started getting very like excited, dramatic, and started, I don't know, saying like, you don't want to. I don't know what it was. Like, you don't want to mess with me. I can't
Why
remember
do
what it.
why do I get stuck with all the winners?
Yeah, it was
Just
a long time
once,
ago.
just one time, give me a loser and I'll be happy.
Go ahead, tell it.
So Carlos and I say, listen, no, it's actually 10:30, and then they say, yeah, he and his partner say, well, you better try that on a rookie because we know when recall is, and we're like, dude, it's right behind you. Just look at the schedule. This guy proceeds to come out from behind the desk and he starts prancing around talking about how he's from the streets and motherfuckers better know. And like he's going on and on and on. It was so ridiculous how this guy was acting and how threatening. So Carlos goes to stand up. And I'm like, dude, that's the worst thing you can do. So I grabbed Carlos by the arm and I yanked him down. Who's saying, hey, guys?
Me.
You did that?
Yeah.
Oh, because I sent you the link. Oh, that's sweet. Okay. Carlos is sending out hearts. Well, whatever. I don't know. Subby, he's sending it out to you. You should be happy. So anyways, the guy keeps this up and up and he just keeps talking about, how he's from the streets and this and that. So bad that somebody in the background yells, King Kong ain't got shit on me, from Training Day because they're making fun of him. Now, Brent and I mentioned this guy in our book and we tell the story and we talk about how he became unhinged. So what does he do? He becomes unhinged again. I was in my cell and he starts walking around the block. He comes into the block. He's not working the block. He comes into the block and says, I guess I became unhinged, huh? Yeah, unhinged. And he keeps walking around saying this. But it gets even funnier. Because I'm out of prison and I'm at a bar, not drinking. I just went to the bar because I was hoping to meet chicks. And I see this guy and he looks so familiar and he comes up to me and says, do I know you? And I said, did you ever do any time? Because he's not in an outfit. And it's very difficult when somebody's not in the context to recognize. It's if you ever saw a judge without a robe on, and I'm not a bathrobe. He's not naked. I'm saying the judge without the judge's robe on. But so I didn't recognize him. And he says, yeah, I'm Officer Taylor. And then it hit me who he was. I said, oh, But I ran into this guy. But I'll tell you, though, he didn't tell me then how he was from the streets and all that. That was That was in the background. But the point of the matter is this is not appropriate behavior. And to tie it into this show, these are government employees. They're union members, and the incentive structure of the prison system is not so as to inspire good conduct. It's not going to incentivize them to be professional. They're allowed to come in, they do whatever they want, they use whatever language they want, and there's just no consequence for it. Would you say that's accurate? Can you at least remember that?
I would accept the no
Oh, no.
consequence part. It really takes a toll, on them, and it's a reason why they have a higher suicide rate than police officers.
No, Carlos. I didn't mean the stress consequences. I meant the consequences in terms of they don't get
No,
fired. They
no,
don't
I
really.
I I, I get that. I just
But
wanted
you
to
have to explain that. You can't just jump in and act like you know everything.
I got you. No, but it's true. So the inmates don't respect the correctional officers. The correctional officers have very little regard for the lieutenants for the captains, and the captains for the wardens. So it's a whole shit show that goes on, and everybody gets to get away under the idea that it doesn't matter at the end of the day because you guys are overseeing scumbags and animals. So it's a horrible culture.
Hey, you didn't know Ryan Testa, huh?
Ryan Tesla, that sounds
Yeah.
familiar.
Yeah, he was just murdered. He got out of prison. He went back to prison. He got out again, and now he's been murdered.
Oh,
I got to talk about some stories. You want to hang around while I discuss these stories?
so I have to get to a client at 2 p.m. and it's an hour away. So I think I can stay around for one or two.
Uh, yeah, and if you leave me some money, it'd be highly appreciated. All
I
right.
mean, unless you like, because I gotta put the GPS on to get back to the house. But yeah, I'll stay around for two.
Dude, if it's an hour away, it's not even 12:30 yet, and you got to
But
be there by 2.
I have to account for traffic, the possibility of traffic.
What are they going to do? It's your salon. No, you have to have the good work ethic and be there on time.
Yeah,
So,
mentor.
yeah. Well, the mentor wants some money. Pay up. Okay, listen, I don't need any money. My boss is actually paying me very well. Not that I'm going to turn down the money. If you want to leave me some cash, I'll certainly take it. Lee wants you here every day. Okay.
I'll make room.
What?
I'll make room to be on here every day,
You make time.
buddy.
You don't need
Time,
room.
room. They're all the rooms.
Persephone, do you see what I deal with? Do you
Time,
understand
time,
why?
buddy. Time is in the room. Room can't be in the time.
Oh my God. Have you ever heard of time and space, Carlos?
Yeah.
For the love of everything holy. Okay. Anyways, progressive, this is from the Free Press. Progressive activist Katie Wilson will likely be Seattle's next mayor, unseating incumbent Bruce Harrell. Like New York City Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani, Wilson is a self-avowed socialist who has proposed government-run grocery stores and a local capital gains tax and has promised to Trump-proof Seattle. You see, there's a lot here. So first of all, there's this dichotomy that socialism is the opposite of Trump, which of course it's not. Trump is making some socialists blush with all his interventions into the economy. But the ascendance of the self-avowed socialist, I mean, there was a time when they wouldn't admit it. They would just claim to be liberal Democrats. But now they're actually admitting that they're socialists. And not only are they admitting it, but they're winning, which means the people are favoring socialism to some degree, at least. This to me is scary. It's mostly scary because of the lack of opposition, the lack of an intellectual political movement to oppose them. The Republicans have gone batshit. And the Jim is trying to start trouble. But anyways, you can read his little comment here. I'll post it on the board. No, if Jim would have agreed to come on today instead of lollygagging, I wouldn't be forcing Carlos to sit in my living room on the show. But anyways, the Republicans are anti-intellectual to the core, so there's really no political movement against this stuff. So they just keep getting, they keep growing and getting elected, and the government keeps growing and our freedom keeps receding. And, you know, we have the American Capitalist Party, by the way, AmericanCapitalistParty.org. We certainly want to be the opposition, but that's going to take your help. Now, there's a lot of strong arguments. Tom Pentlow says, hi, Carlos, by the way. There's a lot of arguments against socialism, ethically, economically. But since I have Carlos here, Carlos, you grew up in a government housing project, correct?
Yes.
And you started doing time in boys' homes, group homes, government-run organizations when you were about, what, 12?
13, yeah.
13, okay. You're now, if I'm 49, I forget,
42.
you must be 42. Okay, and by the way, Carlos shares a birthday with Ayn Rand, just so everybody knows. February 2nd. Given your experience with government agencies, right? What, and was your mom on welfare? Stick her right out there.
Absolutely. We had everything. Christmas, all the video games,
Okay.
all the
So,
food.
all right. So, given everything you know about government, what would you tell somebody, just in pure common sense language, that is advocating for government takeovers of grocery stores, for God's sake?
I think it's ridiculous. I think the biggest way to disincentivize people and to actually make a bigger problem and to waste resources is to not make them hold the weight of their own actions, like not let them absorb their own consequences. So, I still to this day do not understand how people cannot see that a government can only operate through the production of its citizens. So I don't see how someone can come up with the idea that if I have to work to fund the government and the next person next to me has to fund the government, what sense does it make for the government to be the biggest employer in the country? Like, how does that happen? So there's this big waste of resources, this big disincentive for people to create, the kind of wealth that would exist today if the government got out of the way. If the government was not in the way, actually. So for me, example after example, I mean, my mother didn't start working until, she was in her 50s, I think, because um, the kids were out of the house. There was no more money to collect at all. So she was faced to actually get a job because no more, government funding. But I recently spoke to a woman who is a part of the NAACP, and she's a big investigator for SNAP fraudulence. And she was telling me the kind of cases and numbers in the thousands where she's knocking on doors and people are claiming that the father doesn't live there and so on and so forth is just a lie, and people are just feeding themselves off of other people's production, and the government's happy to take it. It's just perpetuating the very problem that a lot of people claim to want to get away with, and not just the bodegas or the stores or whatever. You speak about this idea about affordable housing is being pushed by every single minority that you can think of when it's causing greater and greater harm to those communities. And they think that's the key to success. When my question is, how much money is being funneled into the people who are proposing these programs and perpetuating them? So that the idea is still like popular. It's crazy. When people push these programs, I'm thinking, how much money is going in your pocket to keep your own community in the dumps? So it's just a mess. It's a mess.
Carlos, Deeper with Diego wants to know if they still have quarter waters at the bodega.
I doubt that the government can can shield themselves from the economy that much, but no, I don't think there are any more 25 cents. Isn't this crazy? Like I just look, isn't the federal minimum wage at $7.25?
Yeah, but most states have it much higher than that.
Crazy.
Yes, it is. All right, I'm going to let you get going, but before you do, anything you want to tell the audience?
No, so
No? All right.
No, no, just something simple. I'm super proud of you. I see you actually standing on many of the things that you fought for while we were incarcerated, the ideas that you actually developed to continue to spread them around society and create the kind of world that you want to live in. For me, continues to be very admirable, and I want to be on the show more often. Hopefully, I can find the time to do so.
Awesome. All you got to do is find the time. You're welcome anytime. I don't care what Mark says or Persephone. If they don't want you, I'm putting you on, and that's it.
All right, got you, bro.
I love you,
So,
buddy.
I love you too. Have a good day, guys.
Bye. All right. Well, that was a treat. You got to admit that was a treat. At least I hope you think it was a treat. It was a treat for me because I love the guy. Great, great friend. Great person. Been through so many struggles, and it's just awesome. So let me see if I can find another story here to talk about. Oh, so we got this Epstein file thing where evidently Epstein was sending out emails, and the emails talk about how the the Trumpster's been in rooms with some of these victims. Trying to get rid of this, but I can't. Okay, it doesn't matter. The Trumpster knew, what was going on, that the Trumpster's no good. And Trump seems to not want this stuff coming out. I agree with Ian Gilmore. I don't think Trump did anything. I really don't. But what I do think is the people pushing Trump have pushed this conspiracy theory in attempt to gain power, to gain notoriety, to gain influence. And now it's kind of coming back to bite them in their various keisters. That is what I actually find interesting about it. If they hadn't kept pushing and pushing, we wouldn't have this situation. But now their people want to see it. I'm actually seeing all over social media, MAGA's dead. MAGA's dead because of this. MAGA's dead ultimately because of creation of MAGA. And often when we get to the claims of the MAGA folks, they just don't have the receipts, right? The election was stolen. Prove it. Can't do it. This mass conspiracy of pedophiles is out there. Prove it. And, when they don't do it, and especially in this case, now people want it. Trump is a generic scumball, so it's not surprising that some of the people he was pals with were real trash. Fair enough. I happen to agree with that. Does anybody in the audience have anything else to say about this Epstein stuff? I just find it interesting as political theater, to be perfectly honest with you. Not that I don't think Epstein was a scumbag. I do. I also think Epstein hung himself in his jail cell. I don't think he was murdered. I don't think that there's this long list of celebrities that he was trafficking to. But I do think it's interesting that it's now being sort of a bugaboo, or if that's the right word, it's a bother to Trump. And he's actually reaching out to Democrats to Republicans, asking them not to release this stuff because he knows evidently that he's mentioned in it and he can't take it. And everything, by the way, he's also calling it, it's a Democrat hoax, as he does every time he's accused of anything. It's always a Democrat hoax. Perhaps one day he'll go to the doctor and find out he has hemorrhoids, and he'll claim that's a creation of the Democrats. This is funny. I thought it was iTunes. Deeper with Diego, your voice to text skills are admirable. All right, let me see what else we got here. Oh, this Diego is going to absolutely love. So there's an article in Reason magazine called "Moral Panic About Rough Sex Gives Way to Censorship in the UK." British regulators and lawmakers are hot on a measure that would make possessing or publishing strangulation porn a crime. Now, there's all types of studies in here how women prefer being strangled during sex more than men prefer being strangled during sex. It's actually pretty safe, but a lot of people like it. But they want to outlaw not only doing it, making the porn, but outlawing possession of it and outlawing possession of it, even if it's all AI. So if you've got a situation where somebody creates some girl getting choked during sex and it's completely fake, this is going to be illegal. I mean, this is absolutely insane to me. You're really going to outlaw strangulation porn? I mean, I'm not a porn guy, right? I don't watch porn. Even in prison, I wasn't into it, mostly because I don't, should I even say this? I don't know, whatever. They get the dirty magazines in, and the dirty magazines also have naked men in them, and I'm just not into seeing naked men. So that's why I'm not a big fan of porno movies either. But, yeah, so if you are in possession of this stuff out there, you're going to be in big trouble. And I just don't know why anybody would care. They're saying it's harmful to women. If the women are volunteering for it, dude, who cares? And Nicole says, what does Nicole say? She just said, so how could they possibly monitor that? I don't know. Like, how are they going to figure this stuff out about who's got the porn and who doesn't? I guess you could see if it's being sold, but it's just like naked men, Rational Frontier. That's what he wants to know about. We've had all these questions, and he chimes in now and says, oh, I just logged back in. And Mike's talking about naked men. Yeah, sure, you just logged back in. It's just finally you found a topic that interests you, sicko. Anyways, yeah, I find it so weird when people are concerned about the sexual habits of others. If it's voluntary, like, what the hell do they care? It's a very, very, very strange dynamic. I think it's like twisted. Like, you're worried about this stuff? Like, who the hell sits back and says, somebody might be getting off on something I disapprove of. Let's regulate it. Entirely nuts. Entirely nuts. Yeah, I don't know what much more I can say about the topic other than different forms of Puritanism returning. Yes. Jenna Kleem is an elderly woman, she says, but she's always very interested in porn, which I find great. Jenna, good for you. I'm happy that you like porn. That's very nice. I don't know if you like the strangulation porn or not. We haven't really discussed that. But the idea that the UK government is going to regulate this is a bit absurd. It's called the Choking Amendment. The proposed ban was introduced on November 3rd as an amendment to the UK's crime and policing bill. It's passed the House of Commons, and now it's in the House of Lords. Oh, publishing such material is illegal. And what is being protected? It wants to. It says that platforms will be held accountable. They want to ensure the content is good. I don't know. This stuff with the government is absolutely, absolutely sick. Satan invented VPNs, according to... What is a VPN? I don't even know. Persephone and Diego both know, which tells me it's probably something untoward. But whatever. Oh, we got this story too. Operation Midway Blitz agents sprayed by mistake, I guess, a baby, and Lee knows what the VPN is. Nice. So Lee, Diego, and Persephone, we know, are sick. But that there's anything wrong with it. Again, I don't mind people if they want to be sickos. That's fine with me. Just be sick, you know. Jim says that they're visible panty lines. The objectivist movement, folks. Visible panty lines. All right. Anyways, so what happens is, let me see this. A Chicago area couple and their 1-year-old daughter were pepper sprayed during their Saturday morning grocery run. On Saturday morning, the Veraza family was on its way to Sam's Club in Cicero, a Chicago suburb near the epicenter of the federal government's immigration enforcement campaign known as Operation Midway Blitz. Upon hearing a helicopter and car horns, which are often used by community members to signal immigration enforcement activity in progress, they decided to leave. And then a black pickup truck, captured on video by the car's passenger, drove past their vehicle, and a masked agent sprayed a chemical irritant through the car's open driver side window. This is a big part of the problem with the deport them all crowd. Maybe they don't care. I don't know, but it's one thing to say this, we want this to happen. It's another thing to actually see how it's run, how the government actually implements it. It reminds me of Unicorn Governance by Michael Munger. This is what the government actually does. An infant got sprayed with a chemical irritant. And I'm pretty sure, I believe these were citizens, by the way, but even if they weren't, who cares? An infant? Really? And there's people out there that are for this? How? Like, how are you for an infant baby getting sprayed with an irritant? Now, I get it. Look, if this guy's driving his car at ICE agents or at police and they defend themselves and the infant gets hurt, listen, it's very sad and very unfortunate, but it would be on the parents. But they're just driving away. They're just leaving and their infant gets sprayed because people don't like foreigners? Really? I don't think anybody in this audience is okay with it, but there's people who call themselves libertarians who are okay with it. Kind of demented. See if we got anything else here. Oh, well, 1 in 4 U.S. households are living paycheck to paycheck, according to CNN Business. The Trump administration is considering portable mortgages so that you can take your mortgage with you from house to house, because what happened is, due to the government's last bad policies, when they forced interest rates below market levels, a lot of people bought houses and they don't want to sell those houses because they're locked into a very good mortgage deal, very good interest rate. So now the government wants to allow portable mortgages so that people can move with their mortgages. I don't know what, will befall the people who do this or what problems. Then the government, of course, will introduce more stuff to solve that problem. I do know that this is none of the government's damn business, right? The government has no business in the mortgage market. Get out. Allow people to buy mortgages, to take out, loans, whatever the hell they want. It's not the government's business to get involved in this kind of stuff. It's not good economically. It's not good morally. Rational Frontier says the U.S. housing market is so bad. I don't know, because I'm neither trying to sell or buy a house, although I do, I suppose, work in the housing industry because I do real estate title searches. But nevertheless, this is bad. And that's all I'm going to say about it, because I really don't have much else. I mean, I don't know. Like, I do this and I got to come up with creative ways and creative stories. But how many different ways is there to say that the government shouldn't be involved in the goddamn mortgage market? The government shouldn't be involved in the banking industry. The government shouldn't be involved in grocery stores. They shouldn't be involved in the type of porn people are watching where nobody's rights are violated. I mean, it's just too much. It's too much is all. And it just keeps happening. It's happening. I mean, happening. Persephone left. Yes, get the government out. Beat it, Gov. Okay, Persephone's back. That's awesome. What else we got here? Scott Bessent, Trump's economic whatever, I think he's the Treasury Secretary. He's talking about how the Trump administration is going to be taking action to lower prices, including maybe lowering some tariffs. How about just not put the tariffs on to begin with? There's an idea. And then you don't have to come up with innovative and creative ways to lower the prices that are rising because of your stupid freaking policy, you orange idiot. I'm sorry. I hate insults in an argument. I hate insults. I really do. I like people to stick to the topic and to, work through it without insulting their opponent. But here we have no opponent. What we have is a moronic tyrant who's inflicting his will and his whims on human beings. My personal take about lesbian porn is that is the only good part of the movie Mulholland Drive is the lesbian scene. That's my take. I don't know that Rational Frontier will check it out because that doesn't seem to be his thing. But nonetheless, Persephone seems happy. Maybe she'll check it out. I don't know. Not that there's anything wrong with that. That's all I'm going to say. There is something wrong with the government getting involved in everything. There is something wrong with tariffs. There is something wrong with now trying to fix the problem that they already created. That movie does not rock, Captain Chandler. The movie is awful. It has no plot, no resolution, nothing. It just sucked. That's it. It sucked. I did watch The Godfather again last night, and I rather enjoyed The Godfather. That is a great movie. That's just great acting, great storytelling, people pursuing their values. They commit murder every now and then. I understand that, but overall, fantastic movie. I don't know, if the government keeps getting involved in things, we may not have many more good movies. I told the Rational Frontier he needs to start watching Seinfeld and he'll feel much better because he's stressed out. And I told him, if you're stressed out, watch Seinfeld. It will help. It's a great take. I didn't like that movie, Chandler, and I would love for somebody to try to make a rational case for why Mulholland Drive is a good film. Well, we can set the criteria ahead of time. And unless the criteria is the whims of anybody happening to be watching, I don't think anybody is going to make the case that is a good movie, not even Persephone with her beautiful hair. All right, let's see. Do I have any more stories or do I have to just cut out of here? No, I don't want to talk about that. Israel is seeking a 20-year military aid deal with the U.S. I'm not a fan of military aid. Again, the government does not have any money. The only money it has, it robs from other people. The government signing into a 20-year contract with a foreign country to rob the American people and send the money over there, I'm just not for it. It's just not a good thing. If individuals want to donate their money, then let them. Why does the government have to do everything? Because the government has the guns, I guess, and they're going to force people to do it. Doesn't make it right. Not right. I'm not an opponent of Israel. I think Israel is morally superior to the enemies that they face. That doesn't mean that it justifies robbing American people to give them money. I am not planning on writing any more books, Kaya. Writing books is a real pain, and it's very, very time consuming, and my time is very restricted as it is. Okay, so you're not getting View from a Cage 2, Lee, especially not after you've been ogling over my friend for the last hour. Don't think I haven't noticed. All right, I think we're going to wrap up. Persephone, do you mind if we wrap up? All right, we're going to wrap up. Capitalist thought of the day is this. Even with all the restrictions, even with all the government interference in the economy, even with all the losses of freedom that we have, my friend Carlos has demonstrated that if you're willing to work hard, develop a talent and a skill, and work hard to achieve your goals, you can do it. So don't let any excuses get in your way of being the best you that you can possibly be and being the most successful you that you can possibly be. And my question, here's a question for the audience. Do you think that my friend Carlos should take his braids out and go with the long-haired Lion King look, or do you think he should keep his hair in braids? Please go to YouTube to do that. Please do it. Answer that question. It helps with the algorithm. Please go to AmericanCapitalistParty.org. Oh, I forgot. I have a great episode of The Rational Egoist out right now with Nikos Soterakopoulos, all about his journey from Marxism to objectivism. It's a must watch. You got to do it. And please check out our Patreon for the Capitalist Corner. Check out our website. Persephone is going to put it on the board right now so that you can go there. Remember to check out me and Mark on his Patreon this weekend. On Saturday, we're doing the Self-Made Soul podcast where we're going to discuss psychology of psychologizing. Persephone, come on, chop, get this into the chat here, and then we can, I can wrap this up. We could talk a bit, and then I can get on with my day, because today I'm actually interviewing Kaya Willis at 2:00, and that will be out soon as well. Persephone doesn't seem to be able to do this. I don't know why. I don't know what her issue is. She's normally very astute. Persephone, I'm going to bring you on, and you can just tell him.
It's almost like I can't actually add things because I'm just sitting in the chat. But if you go to Patreon and you search The Capitalist Corner, then you can find The Capitalist Corner. Also on Twitter, there will be a link.
What about the website?
There is a link to the website as well. It is thecapitalistcorner.org. But there will also be a link on Twitter today.
Say that again, on Twitter.
On Twitter.
That's a beautiful accent. All right, folks. Thank you so much for joining us today. We will be back tomorrow. Mark will be back with me tomorrow. We're going to be here to answer all your questions. And please have a great day. And remember to always check